So I think they're just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping that it sticks because they know that their client is guilty and they're just trying to do the best that they can with a guilty client.
As you all know, I made a request today for what we were calling a gag order, and I'm not going to walk out of court and do anything other than live up.
As many of you know, I made a request today for what we were referring to as a gag order, and I want to assure you that I will stick to that commitment. The world of celebrity scandals has been shaken once again, and this time it involves one of the most infamous names in music history, Diddy Combs. The once untouchable mogul, whose legacy includes decades of chart-topping hits and high-profile business ventures, now faces a courtroom battle that could forever alter his public image. But it wasn't just the legal drama that turned heads. It was his shocking appearance that left journalists, fans, and even the courtroom in complete silence. What happened to the charismatic powerhouse known for his flashy lifestyle and larger-than-life persona? Let's dive into this unfolding saga.
This is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
When Diddy made his latest court appearance, he was nearly unrecognizable. Gone was the polished image of the music mogul who had once dominated red carpets and graced magazine covers. Instead, the man who shuffled into the courtroom appeared visibly aged, with overgrown gray hair and a matching beard that added years to his face. Reporters described him as bloated and worn down, a stark contrast to the sharp-dressed entrepreneur the public had come to know. Dressed in a tan jumpsuit, his demeanor fluctuated between moments of somber reflection and brief flashes of his old self as he smiled faintly at supportive family members seated in the gallery. This dramatic transformation sparked questions about whether the stress of his mounting legal troubles had finally taken its toll, or if something deeper was at play behind his frail appearance. The courtroom buzzed with whispers as journalists furiously scribbled notes, trying to reconcile the image before them with the iconic figure who had once seemed invincible. "Oh my God, he looks terrible," one observer was overheard saying. Others wondered if his sudden physical decline was a strategic move. Was Diddy attempting to garner sympathy from the court? Or was this the true result of years of mounting allegations and the crumbling of his empire? Regardless of the cause, the visual impact was undeniable. It was the embodiment of a fallen titan, stripped of the aura that had once shielded him from scrutiny.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and rape at the hands of Diddy.
Adding to the intrigue of the day were the new claims brought to light during the court session. Prosecutors, emboldened by what they called critical evidence, presented damning allegations that cast an even darker shadow over the mogul's past. These claims, spanning years of alleged misconduct, included accusations that Diddy used his influence over his network of employees in ways that crossed both moral and legal lines. One particularly shocking assertion involved his alleged use of intimidation tactics to maintain control, a revelation that left the courtroom in stunned silence. The severity of these accusations only served to escalate the stakes of his already monumental legal battle.
You're not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do.
But it wasn't just the courtroom revelations that had people talking. Rumors began swirling about Diddy's deteriorating health, with insiders hinting that his current condition might be more serious than initially thought. Some close to the situation suggested that years of high-stakes business dealings, coupled with the pressure of his legal troubles, had taken an irreversible toll on his physical and mental well-being. "He's not the same man he used to be," a source reportedly said, adding fuel to the fire of speculation. Whispers of exhaustion, stress, and even underlying health issues have circulated among those closely following the case, though no official confirmation has been provided.
You said we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Observers couldn't help but notice how this speculation seemed to align with the narrative of his potential surrender. Rumors began to circulate that Diddy, once fiercely defiant in the face of accusations, may have shifted his stance, with some insiders claiming he could be cooperating with federal authorities. If true, this would mark a dramatic turning point in the case, suggesting a possible admission of wrongdoing or an effort to mitigate the consequences he faces. Sources close to the investigation have hinted that Diddy's team might be exploring this route as a way to protect his remaining interests, though these claims remain unverified.
U.S. judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male sex workers across state lines to take part in recorded sexual performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence. David Willis reports.
The courtroom drama has been further amplified by the presence of Diddy's family, who have remained by his side despite the growing allegations. In his latest appearance, his son Christian, daughter Chance, and mother Denise were all present. Offering a rare glimpse into the personal toll this case has taken on Diddy's inner circle. At one point, he turned and blew a two-handed kiss toward his family, a small yet poignant gesture that seemed to highlight the human side of his otherwise sensationalized saga. However, even their visible support couldn't overshadow the weight of the serious accusations against him.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the shoe have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there, he was like an overnight.
The narrative took an even more dramatic turn as rumors of Diddy's alleged cooperation with authorities began to gain traction. Could this signal a new chapter in the case? Speculation ran wild as legal experts debated the potential implications of such a move. Was Diddy cutting a deal to save himself? Or was this part of a larger strategy to shift the focus away from the more damaging aspects of his case? Whatever the answer, one thing is clear. For the first time in decades, this is a man who appears to be on the defensive in a way that even his vast resources and influence cannot easily counter.
Understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on sidewalk.
As the courtroom session drew to a close, questions about Diddy's future loomed larger than ever. His once flawless reputation as a music mogul and cultural icon now lies in tatters, replaced by a narrative of alleged misconduct and legal battles that threaten to overshadow his storied career. The sight of a visibly aged and subdued Diddy leaving the courtroom seemed to crystallize the fall from grace that has captivated public attention in recent months. But the day's revelations didn't stop there. Behind the scenes, whispers of internal conflict within Diddy's legal team began to surface, hinting at possible divisions over the direction of his defense strategy. And then came the news of Cassie's certificate, a crucial piece of evidence that could potentially tip the case in favor of the prosecution. The significance of this development, combined with the ongoing rumors of Diddy's declining health and alleged cooperation with authorities, added yet another layer of complexity to an already convoluted saga.
To the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs, this one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
As the courtroom emptied and the buzz began to quiet, a new wave of speculation started to build. Could this be the beginning of the end for one of the most recognizable figures in entertainment? And if so, what does that mean for the legacy he spent decades building? These unanswered questions leave the story wide open, ensuring that this is far from the last we'll hear about Sean Diddy Combs and the legal battle that has captivated the world. Just when you thought the drama couldn't get any more intense, the spotlight shifted to Diddy's legal team, a group that was supposed to be his last hope, but now finds itself surrounded by whispers of betrayal, internal conflict, and questionable motives. Imagine this. The very people who should be fighting tooth and nail for his freedom are now at the center of speculation themselves. Are they truly in his corner, or are they playing a different game altogether? The courtroom wasn't just a battleground for prosecutors and the defense. It became a stage where Diddy's own team seemed to be struggling to keep their strategy intact.
This is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
Rumors have been swirling for weeks that Diddy's legal team, led by high-profile attorney Mark Agian, may not be as united as they'd like people to believe. Insiders have suggested that some members of his defense may not be fully committed to his cause. Instead, their true allegiance might lie elsewhere, with powerful figures in the background pulling the strings to ensure their own interests are protected. It's been rumored that some of these shadowy influencers are more concerned about what Diddy might reveal than whether or not he walks free. Let's be honest. Diddy's empire wasn't built on squeaky clean deals, and if he's pressed to cooperate, who knows what names might come out of his mouth.
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. How long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come?
Speculation over divided loyalties has only intensified following the abrupt announcement from Anthony Rico, one of Diddy's attorneys, that he intends to withdraw from the case. The timing couldn't have been worse, just months before the trial is set to begin, and with the stakes higher than ever. Rico's departure raised eyebrows across the board, with some insiders calling it a sign of chaos within the defense, while others suggested he may have been pressured to step aside. His cryptic statement about being unable to serve in a manner consistent with the standards of justice only deepened the mystery. Was it a matter of principle, or was there something more sinister at play?
Now, this particular defense attorney's reason for quitting wasn't really a reason at all, making his departure a lot more puzzling.
Meanwhile, the defense team's strategy, or lack thereof, has become a hot topic of debate. On one hand, they've been filing motions left and right, questioning the integrity of evidence and demanding the identities of witnesses. On the other hand, these maneuvers have been criticized as desperate attempts to delay the inevitable. Prosecutors have even accused the defense of using stalling tactics to avoid confronting the mountain of evidence piling up against Diddy. And then there's the leaked internal memo, which allegedly revealed disagreements among the lawyers over how to handle the now infamous surveillance footage of Diddy and Cassie in that hotel hallway. Some wanted to challenge its authenticity outright, while others believed it would be more effective to focus on discrediting Cassie's testimony. The cracks in their unity were becoming increasingly apparent, and the courtroom sharks could smell blood in the water. Adding to the chaos, reports have surfaced that Diddy's legal team is now grappling with a new challenge. The mountain of digital evidence seized during the federal raids on his properties earlier this year. Prosecutors have reportedly retrieved terabytes of data from phones, laptops, and hard drives. with sources claiming that some of this material could directly implicate others in Diddy's circle. Rumors suggest these files include everything from private communications to detailed logs of events that align with some of the allegations against him. While the defense has dismissed these claims as exaggerated, the sheer volume of data has left many wondering what secrets might be buried within, and how damaging they could be if brought to light in court.
Conflict with the client, right? A disagreement, they just don't get along, the communication is poor, they don't agree on defense strategy. Could be conflict with one of the other lawyers. Obviously, it seems like Agnifilo is the lead on this case, although Rico was certainly his one.
At the same time, whispers about internal disagreements on how to handle the influx of evidence have grown louder. Insiders suggest that some members of Diddy's legal team want to focus on discrediting the chain of custody, arguing that the evidence could have been tampered with or taken out of context. Others, however, reportedly prefer a more aggressive approach, aiming to preemptively dispute the relevance of these materials before they're even presented in court. This internal tug-of-war has only fueled speculation that the defense team is struggling to maintain a unified strategy, further weakening their position in the face of an already uphill battle.
And I know obviously there's other lawyers on the case. Obviously a lot of the victims are female. They're going to want female lawyers on the defense team, especially during some of the aggressive cross-examination. That tends to be the conventional wisdom when you're dealing with victims who are alleged victims of sexual assault or abuse. And then it could be a conflict with one of the victims themselves. Maybe Agnifilo, maybe Rico consulted with them or even represented them.
But here's where it gets even messier. There's been growing talk that Diddy's legal team might actually be working against his best interests, whether intentionally or not. Some speculate that their primary goal isn't to get him out of jail, but to keep him there long enough to ensure he doesn't spill any secrets that could implicate others. Let's not forget the rumors about Diddy's alleged cooperation with federal authorities. If he's trading information for leniency, who's really benefiting from that arrangement? Could it be that his defense team is more focused on controlling the narrative than securing his release? It's a chilling thought, but in a case this high stakes, anything feels possible. Then came the bombshell about Cassie's certificate, a piece of evidence that seemed to come out of nowhere, but could potentially shift the entire trajectory of the case. Cassie, who has been at the center of many of the allegations against Diddy, reportedly provided a certificate that supports her claims. While the exact details of the document remain under wraps, insiders have hinted that it's related to events outlined in her lawsuit against Diddy, a lawsuit that was settled almost as quickly as it was filed, yet left a lasting impact on public perception. The certificate has been described as a game changer, offering concrete proof to back up accusations that were previously dismissed as hearsay. Legal experts have weighed in, calling it a potential nail in the coffin for Diddy's defense. If this document is what people are saying it is, it could be devastating, one analyst commented. It's one thing to have allegations, it's another to have a paper trail that supports them. Prosecutors have already signaled their intention to introduce the certificate as evidence, despite fierce objections from Diddy's team. Mark Agian, his attorney, has reportedly argued that the certificate is irrelevant and prejudicial, but his attempts to block it from being admitted have so far been unsuccessful.
He is seen shoving, kicking, and dragging his then-girlfriend down the hallway. And now he's posted an apology.
The revelation of the certificate has reignited discussions about Cassie's role in Diddy's downfall. Once seen as a loyal partner who stood by his side through thick and thin, she has now emerged as one of his most vocal accusers in his ongoing legal battle. Her decision to file that explosive lawsuit in 2023 marked a turning point. And while the case was settled within 24 hours, it opened the floodgates for others to come forward. Now, with the certificate adding weight to her claims, Cassie's credibility has reached new heights. Some are even calling her the key to unraveling the complex web of allegations surrounding Diddy.
Yeah, Jessica, it is very difficult to watch. We are actually going to go through it and show our viewers what he is apologizing for.
But Cassie's involvement hasn't come without controversy. Critics have accused her of seeking revenge, while supporters argue that she's finally finding her voice after years of silence. The public remains divided, with some questioning her motives and others applauding her bravery. What's clear, however, is that her actions have had a ripple effect, inspiring others to speak out and forcing Diddy to confront accusations that had long been swept under the rug. As the drama continues to unfold, the question on everyone's mind is what happens next? Will Diddy's legal team manage to pull off a miracle, or are they merely delaying the inevitable? And what about the broader implications of his alleged cooperation with federal authorities? If he's truly sharing information, who might be caught in the crossfire? The entertainment industry is no stranger to scandals, but this case feels different, bigger, messier, and with stakes that go far beyond one man's freedom. And let's not forget the elephant in the room. What does all of this mean for Diddy's legacy? Once hailed as a trailblazer and icon, his name is now synonymous with controversy. Even if he somehow manages to beat the charges, can he ever reclaim the stature he once had? Or will this trial be the final chapter in a career that has been as tumultuous as it has been groundbreaking? These are the questions everyone is asking, and as the trial date approaches, the anticipation is reaching a fever.
At one point, he appears to throw what looks like vases at her. Now, this apology video that he posted today is the first time that he has acknowledged this event. In fact,
at the end of the day, one thing was clear. This story is far from over. The courtroom battles, the behind-the-scenes power plays, the shocking twists. It all feels like the setup for a dramatic finale no one can predict. As more details emerge, the world will be watching, waiting to see how it all unfolds. Will Diddy rise from the ashes, or will this be the moment that brings his empire crashing down? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the discussion going. Until next time, stay tuned for more updates on this riveting story.